So we're driving back from Penang to Gombak, and it will be around 4 hours, 3 hours plus to 4 hours, I think. And to avoid getting sleepy, I decided to have this talk and just basically thinking out loud, and if anyone want to hear, feel free to do so. Right? One thing that I tend to have when I drive is letting my mind wander and think about stuff. And what my mind think about sometimes is shaped by different things that most probably happened to me lately, recently, or discussion that I have been involved in recently, something like that, right? Or issues that have been bugging me for quite some times, right? So it's among those things that can come in my mind, and I wonder and think about various things that whatever come to mind, right? Whatever type of concern that comes to mind, I'll just. Another thing, actually, on top of that, another thing is I tend to visualize my presentation or my delivery of content in a daurah or in a program during driving also, right? So those are among the things that tend to happen in my mind during driving. And when I'm driving, if my wife is beside me, sometimes she will notice that I somewhat am talking or speaking, but with myself, right? Normally when that happens, actually I'm visualizing, delivering certain topics, certain content, certain muhtawa, and I like to do that. I like to visualize me presenting it, so that when I eventually presenting it, it will not be the first time I'm presenting it, even though the first time might be just in my mind, in my own head, right? So that's my habit of what to do during driving, right? And back then in France, because we do travel a lot also, another thing that I tend to do also is to listen to MP3, right? Be it tafsir or daurah, etc. Because I can actually listen to one session or two sessions during one travel, right, of 3, 4, 5 hours, because we do travel a lot back then in France, every weekend, every other weekend, to go to daurah at other cities, etc. Because back then we are scattered in France, so traveling becomes common. But here back here in Malaysia, our activities are mainly local in each district, so we don't travel a lot. So I miss the time when I used to listen to a lot of MP3s of tafsir, of daurah, etc. That kind of become one of my input that I can eventually make into output later on whenever needed, right? So it kind of a supply in that will be beneficial for me when I need it. But in this country, when I'm back in Malaysia, that kind of input is lost because I don't travel a lot. And when I do like this, I don't actually have this radio of this car having that slot for USB to play the MP3. But anyway, so that's why I tend to go to the next default, which is to visualize me speaking about something. So that tend to happen. But for now, I'm just thinking out loud on issues, on on things that linger in my mind. So I think that's what will be happening now. If anyone who want to continue watching or listening, that will be what you will be listening to. Right. Now, quite recently, there's this discussion about, even yesterday before we shoot off to Penang, things that is crucial for the future, not only to the whole da'wah movement but also to each individual doing da'wah, which is the entrepreneurship future, right? Realistically, we have to have a lot of entrepreneurs, because that's the need of the future, and also financial needs from there, right? And so it's about how tarbiyyah plays a role in guiding those who follows tarbiyyah in a certain path that they should consider, right? So that was a long discussion yesterday. But before that also we have had some discussion about why many people in tarbiyyah suddenly becomes I don't know, exhausted. They become less enthusiastic about the process, etc. Or some even are being resisted or resisting the process done upon them. Meaning that we set up the process of tarbiyyah for anyone who embark on the journey to follow through, but they're resisting the process. Right? Why? Meaning, when we say resisting process, because the process requires some commitment to follow through the process, and they simply do not give that commitment, right? So that is basically resisting the process. This is where I think the concept of ta'rif, takwin and tanfiz become crucial, because without the process of ta'rif, you cannot really do takwin to that person, right? From the organizing committee point of view, right? When we do program, when we do activities, when we do certain structured events, etc. Or even when we conduct halaqah, right? We tend to think in that line that those things are programmed, right? We have the ta'rif program, we have the takwin program, and this halaqah, this liqa, this dawrah, etc. is takwin, for example, right? However, sometimes we fail to realize that the actual process of takwin will not happen when the person that we assume will be going through the process is actually never are interested in going through the process, right? They are there, officially they are there, but perhaps because their parent told them to, or unfortunately their name is there, so they are forced to follow, or whatever the case, right? So I think this is a big issue, because personally, or any person who do not want to go through any sort of process, any specific process, or do not want to become the outcome of the process, when you impose the process to them, they will resist. They will not go through it. Now, and by default, tarbiyyah program depends on commitment given, because it's not like you can force people to come and sit there, come here, sit here, cannot get up, right? That if you can even do that, that will not work, because they will be there with a very negative feeling, and it's making it worse, right? But tarbiyyah program is not even that, right? Because it's voluntary. We invite them, we arrange program for them, and suddenly they do not come, right? Why? Many reasons, but basically that is not giving the commitment required to go through the process. Why is this? Personally, I think this is because we fail to get the objective of ta'rif to be achieved, right? And I think sometimes we make a mistake that we thought ta'rif is just the end goal of ta'rif is for people to know, to be aware of, to understand, right? But I think that is not enough, because if we go backward, for anyone to perform any given challenge or task or mission, they first need to be having two components. One is the desire to embark on the mission, the desire to make sure the mission is accomplished, the desire to make sure or to put the effort to accomplish a mission. Right? That's number one. It must be coupled with they are ready and occupied. Not occupied. They are ready and what's the word? Meaning they have the substance, they have the quality to be able to do it, right? The capability. So those two things are required, because if anyone who have passion and real desire, but they do not possess the quality needed, they will be burnt out in the middle of the road, right? They will be burnt out before the process ends. So that's not good. That's not what we want. We want the mission to be accomplished. We need to have those carry out the mission to actually carry it out until the end, right? Not carry it out and then die in the middle of the road, right? So that's not good. So we need those who are capable, who have the quality to make it go through. Now that's where takwin comes in, right? You develop, you equip people to have the ability, capability, quality to bring the task to the objective, right? To make the mission successful. And what we tend to skip is to trigger the passion. This is what I think, right? Meaning that people that embark on the takwin process, which is designed to build the capability inside oneself so that he can carry out the mission successfully, given the quality that he have. The process by design is building up capacity onto a person full of passion and desire to go on the mission, right? That's the design of takwin process, generally speaking. But when we assume someone already have passion and desire, but actually that assumption is false. Meaning they do not have that passion and desire to carry out the mission, right? Somehow they are there, they attend something, and we assume they are there for the big mission, and suddenly we put them on the takwin process where they have to give certain level of commitment for the process to work on them. And our assumption is wrong. They actually do not have the passion and the desire. So eventually they will find the takwin process unbearable, right? Not just unbearable, I think it's more of unbearable in the inside, not the outside, just as much. And meaning that, why am I going through this stuff, man? I do not sign up for this. Why should I give this level of commitment? I'm not seeing what's the reason for this. So for those who are not passionate to go on a mission, right? Be it, for example, Peace Corps mission, or a battle mission. If they are passionate about that, and they go through the process of takwin that develop their ability in many aspects and form, they know exactly the hardship that they go through the process is to prepare them, to enable them to perform the mission, and they will be okay with it. Even the process is gruelingly tough, they will be okay with it because they understand and they are passionate about the mission coming after that. If a person really want to join the tournament of rugby, right, the sport, And then comes the team to say we have to train like this, this many hour, this many hour on the field. It will be exhausting, right? But if they understand and passionate and have full desire to make the mission happen, to win the championship, to win the cup, they will not resist the takwin process. In fact, they will appreciate it, right? Even though it's tough, even though it takes time, even though it's tiring, they know it is for the mission. For the success of the mission, we have to go through this now. And emotionally, they accept that fact. Even though physically they will be tired, they will be knocked down, whatever, but they know it is for the sake of the mission, right? So the mood is not affected by going through the process. Okay, I'm getting sleepy right now. I'm not sure why I'm talking. I still can get sleepy. So maybe we should drink something here. Bismillah. I make a mistake of buying a lemon drink. It make my eyes squint even more. Okay, where was I? Okay, the desire and the passion, right? Hence, that's a requirement for anyone to go through a takwin process, so that they will go through the process with full understanding and acceptance that the process is required, and they will go through it with commitment, full steam ahead. However, if the person never have any passion and desire to go for battle or to play rugby in a tournament and win some cup or whatever, and you place that person in that situation where they have to get up very early in the morning, go to the exercises, etc., as a soldier, or every afternoon go to the field and really put themselves on the torture of their physical, they will not survive. Emotionally, they will not survive. They do not sign up for that. They are not subscribing to the mission. They do not want to go through the process. They don't even understand why the process is there in the first place. So if that is the case, that's the worst case scenario for such person to be involved in that preparation takwin process, right? Because they will suffer. They will really suffer inside, especially. And that is where I think some of those who are, for one reason or another, are trapped in the tarbiyyah system. Let's call it that way first, right? Meaning that they do not understand why tarbiyyah process is there in the first place, and then second, they do not sign up for that. They do not have the passion and the desire to attain the final objective. For whatever reason, they still end up in the system because of family factor, because of school factor, whatever. They will suffer. They will suffer big time, right? And if they have the chance, they will just leave. They will just leave, right? So that's why I think that's why I think it's crucial to make sure that when they enter the takwin system, they actually want it. They're actually passionate about it. They're at least having a high level of desire to be developed with the system to eventually go and achieve the mission. Yeah. So, but how is this becoming a reality? How many of those who do not have that passion, do not have that desire, do not really want to be in the tarbiyyah system, end up in the tarbiyyah system? And you have to understand is when the name is being passed over to someone who deal with the tarbiyah process in a different area. For example, when this person change area, and then there will be some notification there, this person so and so is what and what and what, right? What was I saying? What was the point that I'm making? Okay, it's totally lost suddenly. I'm not sure why. But okay, I think to wrap it up, my point is this. If we go backward, tanfiz require takwin to have established and achieved certain level of readiness, right? Including passion and desire, because that is even before, right? For the process to train those people, it does require certain commitment, and person that can give certain commitments at that level of commitment are those who already understand and really have the desire to go through that process, right? So if we go backward, then the requirement of the output of ta'rif is the desire, the passion, the wanting to give the commitment or wanting to commit. Those things should be the outcome of the phase before, which is ta'rif. So I think sometimes we miss that point where we assume ta'rif is about giving out material, and when the material is enough, they can go to the next phase. When we work based on objective, right? Not based on purely content. Oh, he have covered this one, or he haven't. Because what we want to see is how everyone react. Yeah. MashaAllah, I'm so sleepy. I'm not sure why. Oh, I need to eat something. But anyway, that's how I thought I will be talking for a longer time, because we have like 3 hours to go, I think 3 plus. I thought we will be talking until the end, but for whatever reason, when I'm talking, my eyes still getting sleepy and sleepy. I need something right now. So anyway, so we will cut short this one. I think for now the obvious conclusion is, I think ta'rif process should really trigger the passion, the desire in someone, and only that, if we achieve that, they will go to the takwin process and will have success in there, because they already realize why they need it. They understand why is it important. They understand the link between the ultimate goal to the process, etc. Right? Allahu Akbar kabira. So, but in the process, sometimes we forget that we just make the ta'rif process to just become
Police reported ahead.
Okay, I'm hoping I'm not speeding. There's a police there. What was it? Now, sometimes we make a mistake that our ta'rif process is centralized on transfer of understanding and transfer of knowledge, right? When actually the understanding and knowledge is to trigger the passion and the desire. That is what is needed. But sometimes we become too technical and we focus more on the how much material content that we have covered, things like that. And I'm not saying that it's not important. I'm saying that the axis, the foundation, the reasoning is we want, inshallah, we want the maximum number of people to actually become passionate about this, and then go through the takwin process and become capable and able to carry out the actual mission and see it through, right? When sometimes we actually mostly skip the number one, we fail to trigger the passion, but we straight away put them in the position that they have to commit in order for us to build them in the takwin process. And that simply just never happen, because if they are not willing to commit, because they don't even feel why they need to commit, they will not commit, right? We will be arranging program for them, but they simply do not come, right? So that's some thought matter on how we see these people in our system and how to manage them, right? Oh, okay, I'm so sleepy right now. Subhanallah. So we will end our talk here for now. We will continue later, inshallah. Wallahu alam. Hope there are some benefit to what I say and what I speak of, and if not, hopefully pray for maghfirah for me, inshallah. And with that, I think we end this first. Yes, we end this first. I'm not sure what comes next, but simply we will end this first. Subhanallah. Subhanallah. My eyes is